Hey, what happened to the campaign? What happened with Black Ops 4?
Call of Duty Black Ops 4, one of the most controversial mixed opinionated games in franchise history. A game that made many bold innovations to the series, such as switching the vast majority of modes to a 5v5 format instead of the traditional 6v6, dipping its toe into the Battle Royale genre, entirely revamping the perk system in Zombies, and putting more emphasis than ever on the returning specialist characters from Black Ops 3. However, there was definitely a lot of questions thrown about in relation to this title and its development, especially after that infamous Kotaku article. This was the first mainline Call of Duty game in the, at the time, 15 years of the series running to launch without a single-player campaign mode. It was the fourth, or technically fifth, entry in the Black Ops series, yet launched with the least amount of weapons, streaks, and maps in Black Ops history. The popular and returning track Zombies mode launched and didn't work. For weeks.
I'm ready. These clips never get old, bro.
Old trusty.
Oh, dude. This is the real peak of Black Ops 4,
Where did the 3-year development time spent on this title go, many would ask? Titles with much less time spent in development, such as Black Ops 1 and Black Ops 2, or with the exact same amount of time given like Black Ops 3, all launched so much more polished than Black Ops 4, and all ended up being considerably more popular Black Ops titles.
Dude, BO3's MP was so
today we're going to uncover some enormous secrets about Black Ops 4's development process, and how this Call of Duty game had drastic changes made from top to bottom throughout its development. We're going to be uncovering the multiple scrapped campaign modes and their stories, previous builds of the Black Ops 4 multiplayer experience, the
Treyarch studio is so beautiful. I don't know who designed the studio itself, but man, it is such a beautiful place. Seriously,
how it came to life,
on it.
A little
is that Kevin? That's my boy Kevin,
and so much more.
Maybe.
I'll be showcasing on screen a lot of substance to what I'll be talking about here, with full links in the description to the sources, and anything I'm not allowed to showcase directly on video will also be available for you to look through in the description. If you enjoy this video, feel free to like and subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to turn those post notifications on to get notified every time my videos go live. Without further ado, let's explore the secrets of Black Ops 4.
The secrets, lad. No, Black Ops 3 is disappearing. Black Ops 3. Black Ops 3.
Now I'll give Treyarch full credit, because this is something that when asked, they didn't actually lie about. In interviews leading up to the game's launch, they claimed Black Ops 4 never had a traditional concept of a Call of Duty campaign planned for the game, and they weren't lying.
It wasn't a campaign as people usually refer to it anyway, so it's like people say, what happened?
It was like shorts.
Like, well, it wasn't campaign in the first place. So
yeah, we were
how can you say what happened to this thing that it wasn't?
I've never seen this video.
We were always building
or this interview.
It was a multiplayer game.
Top to bottom.
But, okay, but with more narrative aspect to it.
That I agree, it is a multiplayer
game, co-op, all that stuff that was...
Shot, BO4 MP out of 10. I gotta say, BO4's MP was fire. It was actually so good. Yeah, I love the beta. I would give it like an 8.
The original Black Ops 4 campaign was called A Career and took place after the events of Black Ops 3. Yes, you heard right. I don't think this is breaking news by any means, but the rumours/leaks of Black Ops 4 originally being a sequel to Black Ops 3 instead of a prequel are in fact true, and I'll showcase plenty of further evidence later on in the video to back that claim. Black Ops 4's campaign/career was set in a dystopian future where two separate factions called the Free People's Army and
he said the word.
The World United Nations would battle over varied objectives in a 2v2 multiplayer.
You said the word!
You could join a friend and battle with other online players, or alternatively play alongside a bot against other bots in a more traditional single-player feeling experience. Before starting your career, you would assign yourself to one of the two factions, and this would entirely change your experience with unique missions and scenarios.
I can never take that word seriously
there are still leftovers of this original campaign concept that can be seen in the released version of Black Ops 4. In Ruin's cutscene within Specialist headquarters, you can actually see his superior wearing a green armband that upon inspection says FPA, short for Free People's Army. Interesting, considering Ruin originally was going to be assigned with the World United Nations in the original story, but oh well. You can also see this armband on a few of the Blackout characters, and one completely off track but funny thing I noticed, within that exact Ruin cutscene, he has a untextured smoke grenade. Yeah, that cutscene is lovely. Anyways, the soldiers on the side of the World United Nations we know of were Ruin, Outrider, Prophet, and Battery. The Free People's Army assigned soldiers on the other hand, Seraph, Nomad, Spectre, and Firebreak. Objectives tasked to the player and their friend/bot for these 2v2 missions would range between escorting VIPs,
I've been there, Thailand, I've been there.
Convoys, some of these missions with time restrictions in place to put pressure on the players. Additionally, there was an option in the game to change factions between missions.
Dude, I didn't know they put Thailand in Black Ops 4.
After each mission, a news broadcast would showcase the aftermath of each mission and showcase who claimed victory over each specific battle. More evidence about this Free People's Army versus World United Nations conflict. This is an interesting one right here. Links in the description available if you want to go check it out for yourself.
There wish BO4
was
figures,
I believe called Mega Constructs figures, and you can buy them. They actually reference the Free People's Army and the World United Nations in the description for the product. It would just seem that nobody has noticed or understood the concept of what the FPA or Union mean, but it's there. Literally in broad day. What about some of the missions then that take place in this campaign/career mode? Let me take you through some. Now, bear in mind the descriptions for these missions were different depending on which faction you were fighting for, so I'll just try my best to describe the overall scenario and objectives for each mission, rather than saying the word-for-word descriptions that I have available. So there's one mission split into 3 different episodes, so the first episode of this mission was called Data Control. In this mission, the Free People's Army planned to infiltrate a data center in Zurich to acquire intel linking
It would have been so cool to see this flesh out in zombies as well,
while the World United Nations planned to sabotage the data center. Episode 2, Data Escape, is the follow-up episode, where it would seem if the Free People's Army secured the intel, they'd have to escape Zurich while the World United Nations try to neutralize the fleeing operators and retrieve the intel
Deji and Vanguard zombies, please, Deji, come back!
If the Free People's Army were
come on, Deji.
Episode 3, Air Assault Convoy, is the finale of this little saga, where the World United Nations have to try and launch an air assault to destroy all black market contraband, while the Free People's Army have to protect it. That is just one mission. The only other mission I have solid intel on is a mission set in Spain, where one team, I don't know which,
the cutscenes look so good in BO4,
one team drive
man.
a quad bike through a wide open
I
farm
wish
to
it got fleshed out.
extract resources from a base, while the other team have to hit the quad bike with missiles before they reach the objective. So why was this career mode scrapped? Allow me to talk more about its development struggles and provide some extra context. Career was one of the first elements of Black Ops 4 to start production, as the campaigns usually are for Call of Duty games. During the back end of 2017, the team at Treyarch put in extra hours to complete a playable demo of Career for an Activision milestone just before Christmas. They got a few missions working, complete with full art and voice acting, and they would go off on their holiday break. It would be after that break, presumably in early 2018, that Treyarch's leadership began informing the employees of the studio that the mode was to be cut entirely from the project. There were very technical concerns, timing issues, and rumoured heavy negative feedback from playtesters, the primary critique of the experience being of that the mode was way too repetitive. Match that with some of the main critiques of the multiplayer build at the time, we'll get onto that later, it was decided that Black Ops 4 would need a drastic shift in direction. Not much bonus story information other than things already said in this video are available, other than the following. It is believed that this story and conflict between the Free People's Army and the World United Nations would have took place at some point in the 2070s, and that some sort of journalist character would have played a large role in the plot of the story. With that being said, that is everything we know about the original Black Ops 4 campaign.
Yeah, and that's probably all you're ever gonna know.
There were multiple single-player experiences in development for Black Ops 4 that was scrapped.
This?
So, what happened after Career was removed from the project?
Look at this!
What could be done with less than a year until the full game's release? After Career was scrapped in
alpha
early
gameplay
2018, Treyarch's good friends over at Raven Software would begin work on specialist missions, reflecting Black Ops 4's drastic shift in direction. So these specialist missions had multiple prototypes created. Here are just 2 of presumably many that were designed by Raven employees. Links in the description providing concept art images for these missions. There was a mission known as Outback Roadhouse that was located in Australia, and during this mission you would play as or alongside Battery, and would ambush a caravan holding fellow specialist character Torque inside. You'd then escape to a nearby petrol station and hold off waves of enemies. The other mission, possessing a very
looks better than
name,
Cyberpunk, I'll tell you that.
I won't lie. Singapore, focusing on Seraph. It appeared to have a lot of correlation or at least inspiration from the mission Vengeance in Black Ops 3. For unknown reasons, feel free to speculate in the comments. This would also be scrapped, and with time closing into the full release of Black Ops 4, Raven instead began work.
Black Ops 4 needed a year. I really wish it released a year later, to be quite honest. I think, like, if Black Ops 4 had one more year in the oven, we would have an incredible game. Genuinely. I really believe that. Because, chat, they made this game to have a 3-year life cycle. That's the thing. It was designed to be Black Ops 3, as big as Black Ops 3. So,
on training missions,
that's the craziest
working as tutorials for multiplayer mechanics. Provided in the description.
Witchy, are you in the chat? Oh man, what's up, Witchy?
Dig in and locate some unused audio files created for these training missions. At least the original concept for these training missions would also be scrapped, and in the end, Black Ops 4 would release with.
They should have just not even
done it. This would be a merging of a new style of multiplayer mechanic tutorials, alongside tying in the new plot separate from the original career mode plot, and instead to Blackout and the newer Black Ops 4 storyline that we got at launch. Safe to say, nobody really touched Specialist Headquarters.
I did!
For the most part, a waste of time and resources, I think we can
I did!
In conclusion, it's quite crazy and somewhat sad to think a fully fleshed out story and online campaign concept for Black Ops 4, due to varied issues, was removed, leading to a drastic shift in the game's direction, only leading to further complication with the game's development story later down the line, and instead launching with a glorified tutorial mode and some cutscenes with no external context. Rest in peace to the OG Black Ops 4 campaign. It is important to note it wasn't just the single player portion of Black Ops 4 that had undergone drastic change, but the product entirely. Black Ops 4's core identity was shifted dramatically from what it was at one point in development to what we received upon release, and included in that were the massive changes made to the multiplayer experience. Let's delve into the part of the video I'd say I've been most excited to talk about, the former build of Black Ops 4 multiplayer and that mode's development story.
I wish I played more BO4 MP. BO4 has the best MP HUD. I agree. I like the BO4 MP HUD. It's wild that, like, it feels like Zombies is such a different game to BO4, man. A lot of the skins in this game looked really good too. Like, they did a really good job with this game, man. Again, if it was either built on the Modern Warfare engine or had one more year left to cook in the oven, it would have been really cool. It would have been really, really cool. It's just too bad. Dang, like, look at that. All the mastercrafts and stuff, like, yeah, they were really cool. Like, I had all of these camos, man. Dude, yeah, the ICR version, like the double variant. Yep, the swordfish. Dude, literally, this just released in Cold War today, but on a different gun, like a C version style. The rocket gun, yeah. This boy literally flying in the air, bro. What is going on? What is happening? That is so funny. Yeah, dude, this spacecraft variant was so cool. This KN variant was awesome as well. Yeah, it was like a spacecraft Cordite. Was that the gun called? Yeah. Hey, it's the Gallo. LOL. It's the Gallo. The classified camo on the swordfish. Yep. Dude, who made all of these cinematics? Why have I never seen this before? I've never seen this cinematic. This must be everything, like, compiled. That's got a treasure chest? Yeah, dude, I remember this sledgehammer that has, like, a rockets on it or something. What the? The man reloading the hammer. What's going on? Is this official? Yeah, I think this is just like a bunch of trailers, like, compiled together. The ballistic knives in BO4 look so cool as well. I do have to agree with that. They did look really good. The rampage was so bad. man. That thing was so cocker, man. BO4 better than Cold War? Who knows, boys? I loved MP, man. BO4 MP was so big. BO4 MP was the one. Zombies just IDK. What is this, a Walking Dead?
Campaign modes usually ground the setting, tone, and core concept for what a Call of Duty game is going to be. So when Black Ops 4's career was scrapped, leading to changes in the setting, tone, and core concept.
Chat, Black Ops 3 or Black Ops 4 MP? Bro, now I'm watching Black Ops 3. Black Ops 3 was so good, too. I think I like BO4 just because it didn't get ruined with all the weapons.
Of the game,
BO3
was not a world where the
fire,
multiplayer wouldn't be heavily affected.
BO3
Let's focus
was
on the
fire.
changes in the setting firstly. Taking a title originally intended to take place in the 2070s and moving it to around the 2040s was damaging enough on its own. You had all these models
what does
for
that even mean?
weapons, specialist
what
characters,
does that even mean?
backstories for maps that now would not chronologically make sense in the Black Ops timeline. Why do we have weapons like the KN-44 implying its release in the year 2044 in Black Ops 3, taking place in 2065, but then the KN-57 implying its release in the year 2057 and looking way more futuristic in Black Ops 4, set in the 2040s? What chronologically in the Black Ops timeline would make more sense to come first?
Yeah,
The
BO4
ICR-1 in
didn't
Black
make
Ops
sense.
3, or the ICR-7 in Black Ops 4? The
That's true.
RK-5 in
That's
Black Ops
true.
3, or the RK-7 Garrison?
Lore
in Black Ops 4?
Omega
We could even
lol.
do this with just looking at some of the weapon models alone. I'll leave this up to subjective opinion, but to you, what looks more futuristic? The Cuda from Black Ops 3, or the MX-9 from Black Ops 4, the Vespa from Black Ops 3, or the Spitfire from Black Ops 4.
Spitfire
This
was
stretches all the way to
so
post-launch
nice,
DLC
man.
weapons
I
received
like the
later
Spitfire
on in
from
Black Ops
BO4.
4's lifecycle.
MX-9
The Argus
was
shotgun,
cool.
according
Argus!
to literally Black Ops 3 itself,
That's my
in the campaign
boy!
mode, was created
That's
in
my boy!
2058. Why is this gun
That's
in
my
Black Ops 4?
boy!
The VMP was created in 2061. Why is this gun in Black Ops 4? The
Who
Locust
knows,
Sniper
brother?
Rifle was created in
Who
2056. Why is this gun in Black Ops 4? We could
don't
literally do
know.
this forever. My point being that drastically
don't know,
changing a
gamers.
game's timeline, a game on a strict deadline set by Activision, often is just
Oh, the
irrecoverable.
big blade.
The game's setting and story wasn't the only thing to
Dang.
change.
Yeah,
though,
this
of
kill
course.
streak was
A
actually
huge complaint
sick.
by varied playtesters with the former build.
my man's rolling,
multiplayer
dip,
was that the
dip,
experience
dip,
didn't
dive in the
feel
doujin.
enough like Call
Dip.
of Duty.
BO4
See,
is just
remember
dead
those
on
rumors
pistol?
and leaks
Yeah.
of Black Ops 4 being more so of an Overwatch clone
Man,
hero
dipping,
shooter than a
ducking,
Call of Duty Black
diving
Ops
and
title
dodging,
in
bro.
development? That is not entirely false, to be honest. Let's blow the lid off this, shall we?
Jeez, bro,
Black
he's
Ops
going
4's
off.
former multiplayer
This
game
man
would be
running.
the first Call of Duty multiplayer since 2006
This man
with Call of Duty 3 to not see the inclusion of a
That's when
security
you-
system. That includes a UAV.
That's when you know you're too
Modern
OP.
Warfare 2019 fans just got a little hard here and there. Instead, every specialist character would have 3 total abilities, not 2
Yeah,
like we
that's
received at launch.
crazy.
An equipment ability, a specialist weapon/ability, and then an ultimate. This is why the streaks in Black Ops 4 were so underwhelming and there were so few of them. They were for the most part either copy and pasted streaks from Black Ops 3 and older Call of Duty titles, such as lightning strikes, hailstorms, helicopters, sentries,
Dude,
RC
what is
cars,
that
etc.,
camo? It
with
looks
what once
cool.
were some of the
That's what I'm
ultimate
saying.
abilities
BO4
for
had
the
a lot of
specialist
sleeper
characters
picks.
coming
You
into
might have
make
to pick
way
up a
as the
Galil.
only quote-unquote new streaks for Black Ops
Dang.
4. Allow me to run through every specialist character that launched with the game, and what their old abilities were, and how they'd have functioned before this.
BO4 is
build
alive
was
on
what
console?
we got
That's
at
great
launch.
to hear, though.
Ajax's 2 abilities would have been the 9-bang and the ballistic shield, which is what we got at release, with his ultimate
Ajax
being
was
the
so
strike team,
broken.
which was
I
later turned
hated
into a
that
streak
character.
reward. He was always intended
I
to be a
hated
breach and
him.
clear style specialist. I could only imagine deploying the strike team when charged near a hard point, control point,
The
or domination
9-bang
flag,
was
throwing in that
so
9-bang and clearing
broken.
it with the team with my ballistic
I
shield.
hated
To be
Ajax.
fair,
in
you can still
multiplayer.
do
He
exactly
was
that with
awful.
current build of the game, but it's not something you're going to be able to do regularly if you're not good enough to be earning strike teams. It would have been inevitable to at least get 1 or 2 a game in the older build of Black Ops 4. Battery, similar to Ajax,
Battery
retains her
was
2 base
also
abilities with
broken.
the cluster grenade and war machine.
Oh,
her
the
ultimate
grenades
ability
were
would have
the
been
worst.
an artillery strike, seemingly something scrapped from Black Ops 4 overall. My only theory is that it was maybe a more accurate and swift version of what would later be the Thresher score streak, but honestly I'm not very confident about that. Fun fact with Battery here, originally in older builds of Black Ops 4 multiplayer, she would have had a little helmet equipped on her character that she'd pull down when whipping out the war machine. That was unfortunately scrapped. Crash's abilities would yet again be the Assault Pack and TAC 5,
Crash was
however
not that
it was a different version of the
overpowered.
TAC 5 than what we received at launch. Instead of a pad that you'd equip and very quickly use to maximise health and give bonus score to the team,
do
it
be
was some really
healing.
bizarre, unique looking equipment linked to teammates you'd have to pull out
Oh, I
and have to
remember
point
this,
towards
bro.
certain teammates in your line of sight to give the benefits.
Yeah, that was
His original
whack.
ultimate was actually a sprint boost. What I assume this was is
Weird.
what would later be how you'd use TAC 5, so the little pad thing, was originally intended to be used for the speed boost ultimate. You'd pop it and it'd give the team a temporary overdrive from Black Ops 3. However, I must
Yeah.
stress that's just a theory, but it's just what makes the most sense
It's
to me.
just a
He had
game
some sort of
theory.
sprint boost ultimate. I'm just unsure on how it entirely worked, unfortunately. Firebreak
What is
is a
going
really
on?
interesting one. So, in the attempt to make things feel more Call of Duty in Black Ops 4's development, an equipment slot featuring varied grenades
Bruh.
and a trophy system was introduced into Black Ops 4's Pick 10 that was not there originally, and it's pretty easy to tell that given how useless and underutilized it is in game. The
Yeah.
Molotov was originally Firebreak's equipment alongside the reactor core, and the Purifier would have been his ultimate.
Oh,
Not
the
first
Purifier was
specialist that has
so
something
good
of
in
his character
BO4.
removed
I
for the
love the
equipment slot in
Purifier.
Black Ops 4's created class. Nomad featured his mesh mines alongside the return of the Hive
Yep,
from Black Ops
Nomad was
3.
legendary.
I'm kind of thankful that didn't reach the full game. And
Yeah.
Juno, otherwise known as the K9 unit, would have been his ultimate. Am I the only one that's always thought Nomad to be the most annoying and irrelevant specialist in the Black Ops series? Hive,
Probably.
Rejack, mesh
Probably.
mines, the K9 unit. Just so annoying to play against always.
Probably.
Prophet had the Seeker Shock Mine, which was pretty much a less fleshed out Seeker
Prophet
drone.
was
They did
so
the same
bad
thing,
in
but the
BO4.
model was actually a
He was
little
not
pocket-sized
good.
wrap from Black Ops 3, which is pretty funny. You just roll it on the floor and it'd go off and shock people. It was pretty adorable.
I did
He'd
not
then have
like
the
Prophet in
Tempest,
BO4,
and
man.
his ultimate would have been the Mantis. The Mantis was also a former specialist ultimate turned into a streak reward, and is a big four-legged robot that shoots missiles at people, somewhat similar to the AGR from Black Ops 2 or the Cerberus from Black Ops 3. Similar to Ajax
Cerb.
and his strike team, Prophet and Mantis make so much sense to be aligned together, given Prophet's intense passion for robotics and progression of the human race, and although you can still play as
Chat, did Fortnite kill Black Ops 4? I feel like it did. Because honestly, this game was not bad. I think this game was not that bad. I think a lot of it was just like the hype of Fortnite.
Prophet and
The
then
children,
Mantis
get on Black Ops 4, not
It's
Fortnite!
just
Get the
not
children
pricey.
on Black Ops
Recon
4!
retained his Sensor Dart and Vision Pulse as his two base abilities, with his ultimate being the Drone Squad. Two little things I want to mention with Recon here. His specialist icon, if you bought the physical Pro Edition of Black Ops 4 that I happen to have bought, features a dragonfly.
If you bought the Pro Edition of Black Ops 4, let's just salute. Moment of silence. Mine's right back there. Moment of silence. And there we go.
Which I think would have been a reference to his Drone Squad ultimate that was later removed and turned into a streak reward. Is that a stretch? I don't know, I feel like a swarm of dragonflies is a nice little metaphor for what would actually be a swarm of little drones coming to tear you
She
up.
got shot.
Also, you'd assume given how Recon plays, and knowing from what I've told you with many of the streaks being former ultimate abilities, that Recon's ult would have been a UAV, right? I presume that was not the case for two reasons. One, that'd make Recon crutch as a mandatory
Recon was
specialist to play
so
as in all
OP
modes,
already,
you know,
though.
if he was the only way to obtain a UAV for the team.
Yeah.
And two, the Fog of War mechanic was supposed to play a huge role in Black Ops 4 multiplayer and how you'd spot people. With the reintroduction of the UAV as a streak, this mechanic would go under the radar a lot in the full build, but if you recap before Black Ops 4's launch, they marketed the idea of the Fog of War quite heavily. Ruins to
Now they're
abilities
doing that
would
with
be the
Vanguard,
grapple gun and the combat
which is
axe
very
later
interesting.
turned into creator class equipment, and his ultimate would have still been the Grav Slam. I've actually got something quite interesting to know about Ruin later on in the video, we'll get onto that soon. Seraph's
Ruin?
abilities were the TAC Deploy and the return of Black Ops 3's Combat Focus ability, which you'd pop, and any score earned within that time period the ability would grant you would be doubled. Her ultimate would have still been the Annihilator. Lastly, Torque featured his classic Barbed
Bruh,
Wire and
what?
Barricade as his two abilities, with his ultimate being the Sentry,
Torque,
another
bruh.
charge-up specialist weapon later turned into a streak for Black Ops 4's multiplayer.
Torque.
Further information about Black Ops 4's multiplayer development and the specialists include passive abilities, also something removed entirely from the game.
Torque
These are
was
believed
the
to have been
worst,
called
I agree.
specialist roles. There were 3, and all of the specialists would come under one of the 3 specialist roles: Slayer, Objective, or support. Now, this is interesting. Slayer specialists, and I need you to be prepared for this one, could access a thrust jump and wall run to access certain flanks around the map and get to locations quicker. That's right, albeit to a less extent than Advanced Warfare, Black Ops 3 and Infinite Warfare, Black Ops 4 multiplayer did have a form of advanced movement at one point. This is actually quite noticeable to this day with the design of many maps.
Yes.
I'll use a couple examples. You see this little opening on Contraband right here? Or on the exact same map, this little jump spot onto the ladder? Or maybe the 2 windows in the middle of the map seaside right here. Or maybe even the Leap of Faith opening on Militia. These would have all presumably been points that you'd only have been able to jump to if you were playing as a Slayer specialist. Because these positions
that would have been kind of dumb
to reach them, but only as a Slayer specialist I'd like to think could you directly jump to them. And this goes for many other maps in the game.
That would have been kind of dumb.
Beta for Black Ops 4, it was a huge complaint that people could jump way too high. That would have probably been because the base jump height was drastically increased for the game due to the removal of the jetpack for the Slayer specialists. And in regards to Ruin, who would have been a Slayer specialist in this old build, according to a few playtesters and developers, using the jetpack alongside Ruin's grapple gun and grav slam was so much fun. Sad to see it was removed from the game. Although the jetpack was actually later utilised in Black Ops 4's lifecycle with the Heavy Metal Heroes playlist of Blackout. Objective specialists could capture and decay objective points much quicker than the rest of specialists, and support specialists could activate a forward spawn, allowing the team to spawn closer to the objective.
Wow, this is so similar to Apex,
man. You had to manually choose a respawn point in Black Ops 4 multiplayer, but it was never really understood why. Of course, Seraph's tac deploy was a thing, but it didn't affect gameplay drastically enough to be anything more than a press square to respawn, press triangle to spawn on tac deploy type deal. So with the idea of a support specialist in mind that can respawn everyone closer to objective, that respawn system definitely makes more sense now. Let's continue with more scrapped multiplayer content, and by the way, if you guys are enjoying this video so far and haven't already, feel free to subscribe to the channel. Thanks to everyone still watching at this point in the video, you guys really are the best, and I hope I've been able to make this entertaining enough for you thus far. Let's keep going. Hopefully I'm not too boring. An evolved version of a feature from 2014's Call of Duty Advanced Warfare called Mag Drop-In was also planned for Black Ops 4. When a player reloaded their weapon and still had ammo left within the magazine, the ammo would be lost instead of going back into the player's reserve count ammo. This would have changed how players approached combat engagements. Despite the feature being cut, the stylized HUD showing mag icons instead of a reserve ammo count stayed the same in multiplayer. So if you were ever wondering why Treyarch seemingly made a needless change to the ammo count HUD in multiplayer, here's your answer, 3 years later. You don't have to thank me, just like the video. There's also unused files that indicate that Black Ops 4 was originally going to have a sprint meter, and in fact did not have unlimited sprint. This is definitely interesting. I can only imagine after Call of Duty World War II went back to unlimited sprint after criticism from the community, that Treyarch would have found it very hard to not follow suit. This would make a lot of sense with the supposed speed boost that worked as Crash's original ultimate in prior builds of the game's multiplayer. Speaking of Call of Duty World War II, War Mode, not that one World at War fans, was in the works for multiplayer at some point.
Are you joking?
Shame we never got to see this as a mode in the DLC season at some point in the Black Ops 4 lifecycle, but oh well. I don't really know much about the scrapped war mode other than 2 map names that were in development called Valencia and Shipbreakers. Nothing more to add at this point other than that, but I know there's quite a few people, including myself, that loved war mode in World War II.
That would have been so good!
Black Ops 4 had its own iteration in the works at some point that was scrapped. I wonder how these specialists of Black Ops 4 would have affected a version of war mode.
That's
also,
so sad.
Transition of
That's actually so
back to the game and revamping Black Ops 4's multiplayer, 3 streaks, being the Talon, Power Core, and Wraith, were cut from the game. There are audio files for all of the specialists in the Power Core, and found in pre-alpha gameplay available, a Wraith streak reward is located on a HUD. Fitting in with the concept of Black Ops 4 multiplayer originally being very, well, hero shootery, anyone notice that there were call-out dialogue options in Black Ops 4 that literally nobody used? They were there but didn't really fit with the pacing, flow, and feel of Call of Duty whatsoever. There was never a point where you'd let your team know you were flanking or needed cover. You don't really have time to do stuff like that in something like Call of Duty. I can only imagine the original build of multiplayer had this be more of a useful and viable mechanic, but yet again, I don't really have anything to add on that feature past that.
I don't think COD will ever be this
tactical. This video has a lot of evidence, and both in the video itself and provided in the description. The zombies theme is coming. I've done enough to prove that. With that being said, there are 2 theories, and I must stress theories, that I have on Black Ops 4's older multiplayer build that I would like to cover. There is no further substance on anything I'm talking about in relation to this. I just want to gloss over the ideas of them. As said, everything in this video, very substantial. This little section right here, theorization only. So, hear me out. So, remember that it was a very common complaint in both the beta and launch of the game that Black Ops 4 did not really match the graphical standards set by its predecessor.
Yes,
and that it was a
true.
game released in 2018 that could be mistaken for launching in 2013 or 2014.
True.
Also remember that very out of place and unnecessary cartoon mode in Zombies that actually also feature in Blackout in the Heavy Metal Heroes playlist?
Yep.
Okay, here's my little theory. Feel free to pay it no mind and stick just to the facts like I have done so far and will continue to do so. But if you're interested in what I've got to say, here goes
Let's hear it, let's hear it.
The theory is that Black Ops 4 had a completely unique art style for a large portion of development that when the drastic changes to Black Ops 4 were made for the game not feeling enough like Call of Duty, it'd be dramatically toned back. It is known that the 2 earliest maps in development for Black Ops 4 were
I think he's right, chat. He's right, and the reason why is because I vividly remember asking Blundell himself about cartoon mode. And he said, Blundell literally said to me, if you guys like cartoon mode enough, we'll add different filters to add on top of the Black Ops 4 gameplay. But that never happened. But if that was going to happen at that point, then it would have meant that we would have had more than just cartoon mode. So it makes sense. Yeah.
Contraband and Seaside.
And the reason why cartoon mode works better than the regular version of the game is because I do agree with him. Cartoon mode was literally what Black Ops 4 should have looked like, which is that's mind-boggling to think about, bro.
Exuberant and bright maps. I think that Black Ops 4 had a somewhat comic style, less realistic art style planned for the game. And the Heavy Metal Heroes playlist and cartoon mode in Zombies was just...
Chat, you know why I can guarantee you that? Because of what Jason Blundell was doing before Black Ops 4. He was making the comics. It makes sense. Cartoon style with the comics, bro. It all makes sense.
Making use of unfulfilled content. Let me know what you think of that one. Just one more theory until we get back to the hardcore facts. This second and final theory is that manual healing in multiplayer worked a bit differently to what we got at launch. This theory is that at one point in the older Black Ops 4 multiplayer build, that you didn't just press your left bumper to heal and have it regen until it reached max health or was interrupted, but would similarly to Blackout, hold it until you reached max. Still,
I don't know about that one. I don't know about that one.
I'll use an example to help you understand the concept.
I don't know.
You walk into a room on the base full health of 150 and kill both guys while absorbing some significant damage from them. You are at 30 health and in need of healing, but you hear an enemy creeping up behind you. You hold your stim up to 100 health and then remove it, equipping your gun and killing the enemy. Upon killing him, you now have the time and space to heal again to get
I don't
back
know
to
about
the
that
full
one.
150.
I don't know about that
Basically,
one.
the concept is you'd hold your stim in for as long as you wanted it to go, whether it was back to full health or on the fly in heated engagements. You could decide how much you wanted to heal in the given moment before pulling the stim back out. It'd provide a huge skill gap to know when you should and shouldn't stim, and for how long you want to heal before the next engagement. Thoughts on the concept? That being said,
I don't know about that one. I think that one might not be real,
build.
but
Quick
may
recap,
have been something
no
tested.
streaks, 3 specialist abilities, not 2, thrust jumping, specialist rolls, mag dropping, a scrapped war mode, and so much more.
Which, that hurts.
In conclusion, I think Treyarch did a pretty damn good job at revamping Black Ops 4 multiplayer in the time they had available.
I
and
agree.
the multiplayer to this day does play very well in my
I
opinion.
agree as well.
There are a lot of bizarre features included that hopefully I've done good enough of a job to explain why they exist today. Would I have liked to play the old build? Yes. Would it have been more polished and logical to the Black Ops story? Yes. Would the Call of Duty community in 2018 have liked the sound of a Black Ops 3 sequel hero shooter with advanced movement and more emphasis on specialists?
Yes.
Probably not. Rest in
really?
peace, the OG
I would
Black
think
Ops 4
yes.
multiplayer.
I would think yes. F.
Now,
F boys.
Blackout. How did Treyarch manage to
Here we
create
go,
an
boys.
entire battle royale mode in under a year?
Oh, here we go.
How was that decision made, and how did the team bring it to reality?
Here we go.
Let's discuss the Call of Duty franchise's first attempt of a battle royale before the juggernaut success of Warzone 2 years later. To put it lightly, it is a huge testament to Treyarch Studios and its partners that they managed to build a battle royale mode and a pretty damn
like
good
8
one
months.
in around just 9 months.
Yeah.
The studio's motto of being highly ambitious and finding the fun remained true in the development of Black
They
Ops.
did a
After
really
Korea
good
was
job.
scrapped in early 2018, with around 9 months until Black Ops 4's launch, Treyarch decided with the ever-growing genre of Battle Royale, with titles such as H1Z1, PUBG, and Fortnite Battle Royale, that this was what they were going to
What
execute.
is this
They'd
game
experimented before with large-scale combat in former builds of the open-world Black Ops 3 campaign that never came to life, and to a less extent with Transit in Black Ops 2 Zombies, only held back by the PS3 and 360's outdated hardware. They could use a large number of assets from the scrapped career mode, alongside assets from multiplayer, like this Hydro Dam on Arsenal, Zombies, and classic Black Ops titles to help form the mode. Now, I'm not even gonna try.
I wish this game was free. If Blackout was free, I guarantee you would have had Warzone success. Guarantee you, boys. Blackout or Warzone in the chat, boys.
Try and pretend that I know how the hell Treyarch managed to get a 100-player Battle Royale working and running smoothly at 60 FPS on all platforms on that engine, but yet again, just a testament to the studio and the talent that that studio possesses, and the seemingly impossible tasks that they continuously make possible. Many of the POIs, Blackout exclusive characters, and vehicles, such as the quad bike, were directly ripped from the scrapped career mode. I guess it didn't completely die after all. Very fun fact here. Blackout was the name given to the mode by Activision, who of course deal with all the marketing for these games.
Of course,
and it's the name that upon release the mode would be known by. But throughout its development, Treyarch always had one name in mind that they liked and referenced the mode by when creating it.
Interesting.
That name was Warzone. Funny how things work in the Call of Duty franchise.
Are you joking me? Are you joking me? So literally Activision was the people that were that literally ruined it. Wow. I've not heard about that. But I did hear, though, that they were working on a BR and they were having trouble figuring out the name. So it was Activision's fault, man. Holy, that's crazy.
In an alternate universe, Blackout Battle Royale would have actually been called Warzone Battle Royale. And I think I'll end the Blackout portion of this video on that note. Lastly, how could we make a video
Here it is, baby.
on a Treyarch Call of Duty game and not talk about Treyarch Zombies? Some would argue the best thing to spawn from this entire franchise. Let's discuss it. So, of course, one of the most controversial things about Black Ops 4 Zombies in particular was the perk system that changed drastically from what had been established for 10 years. Removing Juggernog as a crutch perk was pretty useless, as Dying Wish became exactly that. It was very unfavourable for a variety of reasons, so allow me to showcase to you some pre-alpha gameplay here, vividly showcasing Juggernog and some classic perks in Black Ops 4 Zombies. It is unknown how late the concept of the new perk system was created for Black Ops 4, but there is a very polished...
This HUD looks bad! That is so upsetting.
Looking and functional version of the mode right here that is showcasing these classic perks in the build. Also, when it came to the post-launch support of Black Ops 4 Zombies, it's no secret that drastic changes in
look how much worse it looks. Look, like the points are too big, the perks are too big, this needs to be minimized, this needs to be minimized.
With the idealistic 3-year cycle being cut down to just 1.
Wow.
So let's run through that as well. The Zombies maps that launched with Black Ops 4 were 2 Chaos Story maps with Voyage of Despair and 9, alongside 2 Ether Story maps called Blood of the Dead and Classified. During the full main year of support, the chronological order of DLC maps we got were Dead of the Night, a prequel to the Chaos story, followed by Ancient Evil, the finale of the Chaos story, at least in Black Ops 4 at least. I don't know if we'll ever see a continuation, probably not. After that, we got Alpha Omega, a Nuketown Zombies remake with the traditional Ether story, and Tag the Toten, a Call of the Dead remake,
Big Call of the Dead, boys.
The finale
Shout out
of the
to the
Ether
homie.
story. However, the original plan of content distribution for Black Ops 4 Zombies was very different. So, allow me to elaborate on what the former plans of the mode were. The launch maps, all the way until the release of Alpha Omega, all went to plan and was what Treyarch intended to release in that exact chronological order. Now, after Alpha Omega, that's when plans take an unfortunate change in direction. You see, after the mix of Black Ops 4 Zombies underperforming, having its budget cut, its life cycle being reduced, and Treyarch unexpectedly moving on to Black Ops Cold War via Activision's demands, the story was almost forced to end early with Tag the Toten on Call of the Dead. With that being said, Treyarch, and especially its writing team, definitely did a great job at wrapping that story up. But here were the original plans after Alpha Omega. After Alpha Omega, another Chaos Story map was actually planned for the game. That's right,
That's true.
it seemed Treyarch didn't purposefully pull a Call of Duty Ghosts and leave the Chaos Story on a cliffhanger for no reason, but it was to be continued with at least one more map after Alpha Omega. Not too much is...
So like I said, this game was supposed to be 3 years. The first season was supposed to be Chaos, and then the second season was supposed to be Ether. So if Black Ops 4 actually did well, you could imagine that we would have had a 4 Chaos DLC season, 4 Chaos maps, and then 4 Ether maps on top of that, which would have been literally insane. Never happened, though. So Activision was just like, yep, let's just chop this DLC in half. So, like, it makes sense why Alpha Omega and TOG feel so rushed, because that was not how it was supposed to be out. Like, I'm pretty sure Blundell at the time, he's like, dude, we need to flesh this entire ending out with 4 maps. And they never got that chance, which is so sad.
Known about this map, as it was clearly
Plus
scrapped
Zombies
fairly
Chronicles
early on,
2
given
was
the
supposed to
huge
be in
changes
Black
made to
Ops 4.
Zombies and
Yep.
its support, but it is a very likely chance the Eye of Apophis melee weapon we'd later see as a black market weapon in multiplayer would have been some sort of weapon or item featured on that map. Bold prediction,
Interesting.
you could say there, but
Interesting.
let me provide a little substance.
I don't know about
If
that,
you
but that's
research
interesting.
what or who Apophis is, you'll find Apophis was a serpent god known as the ancient Egyptian spirit of evil, darkness,
April
and
13th,
destruction,
2028, boys.
and he was the arch enemy of Ra, a very influential and important figure within the Chaos Story. It was very much a possibility that in this Chaos Story map that we never got, that after Diego wakes up Scarlet post-Ancient Evil, that Dark Shaw and Dark Bruno meet Apophis and potentially help him, which would be when
That
Diego
would have been
and Scarlet
sick.
find out that the two are working for the Order. I'll leave that for you Chaos Story fans to speculate on. Seriously though, why else would a random, clearly Chaos-themed zombies melee weapon come into multiplayer? I can bet everything I've got that it was a scrapped weapon from that scrapped Chaos map after the release of Alpha Omega that we never got. That isn't all though. What if I told you that Black Ops 4 Zombies and the Ether story was not supposed to finish on Call of the Dead, and the rumours of a Zombies Chronicles 2 weren't entirely false? You see, Tag to Totem was planned and released at the time it was supposed to, but was only supposed to be the end.
Chat, I guarantee you, the last map of Black Ops 4 Ether would have been the Great War. And that literally makes me so upset. That makes me so upset. We would have actually had the Great War map. We would have actually had it. It would have been fleshed out. It would have been beautiful. Nope. So
Season
sad.
1 of Black Ops 4 Zombies.
So sad.
As said, Black Ops 4 was intended at launch to be supported for 3 full years,
Yeah.
and with that in mind, Treyarch had a 3-year plan for Zombies. Within Black Ops 4 and the Ether Story characters, we went back to Mob of the Dead with Blood of the Dead, back to 5 with Classified, Nuketown with Alpha Omega, and Call of the Dead with Tag to Totem. That was supposed to continue with Season 2 of Black Ops 4 Zombies. After that map's release, we were actually intended to get 3 more
So
Ether Story
painful.
maps,
So
returning
painful
to
to
Transit,
listen.
Die Rise, and Buried.
Yeah, so
from
Chronicles
Black Ops 2.
2.
This wouldn't have been in a pack per se like Chronicles, but drip-fed as remakes like prior in Black Ops 4 Zombies. Many assets of these scrapped remakes are located throughout Black Ops 4, from the Ghost Town POI and Blackout featuring a section of the map Buried, the Transit Bus and Diner located in the multiplayer map Remnant, the return of Ted the Bus Driver as a Blackout character, and much more. I wish we could have seen some of the wonder weapons like the Sliquifier make their way into Blackout, but what can you do? Unfortunately, any further maps from these remakes in either the Ether or Chaos story are just unknown to anyone, as work on them would have been very limited after Black Ops 4 Zombies as a mode was cut short in various ways. Shame we never got to see the original plan for how zombies would have been laid out in this game. Definitely a lot of failed potential and disappointment in comparison to the prior Zombies entry of Black Ops 3. The golden age of the mode.
Like, chat, you know how Black Ops 3 has like 15 Zombies maps? I think BO4 would have literally been that. And chat, this would have been one of the maps. And it sucks because like this is not even really a good image because half of these faces are just like copy and pasted, but it's like, ugh. Oh, it's so sad, dude, because this will never happen again. That's essentially what they confirmed with Cold War. They're never going back to this, because this is all, like, Blundell's doing, I guess. Oh, it's so sad.
Should have continued and
so
prospered,
sad.
but instead limped to the finish line in very sad fashion. At least I can say quite confidently that Black Ops Cold War Zombies has sparked some life and hope for the mode and its future.
Imagine
With that
this
being
is
said,
the map!
those are all of the secrets of Black Ops 4 laid out on a plate for you. Links in the description to any and all things you want to further further research, especially if you want to know for sure that I'm being truthful, which I can promise you I am. And please, people, if you did enjoy this video and all of the effort that went into this, leave a like.
Very good video, boys.
And don't forget, turn those post notifications on for more. Don't be shy. Leave a comment. Man, I'll probably respond. Also, feel free to share the video and follow.
Oh, that pains me. Literally, just like, that just pains me. It pains me to know that this was the way that Black Ops 4 ended up. When it would, like, the expectations were just so high, man.